Hello, everyone, and welcome to Energy Healing TV and Podcast. It says again that we are having an issue with Facebook, and I don't understand why because I made no changes this time. So let's see. I don't know if that worked or not, but that's okay. Welcome again to Energy Healing TV and Podcast. Welcome to all the members in the Energy Healing community. Welcome if you're watching on YouTube or Rumble. Welcome to those of you watching or listening on Spotify or iHeartRadio. Excuse me, and I'm losing my voice already. And welcome if you're watching in the Energy Healing for Empaths Facebook group. If you're new to me, my name is Robin Knott. I'm the founder of the Energy Healing School Online and the host of Energy Healing TV and Podcast. I have a master's degree in social work, and I'm a certified Reiki Master Teacher. I'm also the lead soul guided instructor of the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network and the Soul Legacy Academy with my joint vision partner, Iona Mead. So if you've not yet subscribed to Soul Legacy TV Spiritual Business Success with Iona on YouTube, please do that now. Iona teaches us how to, my screen looks weird, I hope we're good. I'm sorry. Iona teaches us how to be successful in business and spirituality without doing busy work, being broke, or experiencing burnout. So I started off my business doing one-to-one, and Iona is showing me how to do one-to-many. And if it wasn't for Iona, I would not have a channel that links all the good things together as well as it does. So thank you, Iona, for that, if you happen to watch the replay. So today's episode, Financial Freedom, Observing Self from a Higher Perspective. So you guys know I don't come on scripted and ready. Just whatever it is that flows and what comes about. So over the past week, I love this, right? I love doing the journaling. If you're watching in the community part of YouTube, I've been just started posting some prompts, right? Chakra journal prompts, since I'm not on every day, verbally doing them right now. At least keep us going, right? So along this process, I still do it, whether I share it online or not. Excuse me. So really reflecting and the growth and the expansion each and every time. It's a beautiful process. It can be nerve-wracking in a moment. You're like, oh, I really thought I was going in this direction, and then boom, expansion, right? Which is perfect for today's talk, because what allows me to reach that level of expansion is observing from that higher perspective. So I usually say, seeing myself in the world through the eyes of Source, God, Creator. Iona says, looking through the lens of your soul. Same concept, right? Same perspective. It's higher than the humanness. It's higher than the ego. It's a higher vibrational energy viewpoint, that expansion. It's not the narrow focus that the human tends to do, right? The human eyes look outward away from self oftentimes, or gets triggered and then just wants to defend itself, personalizes everything, right? It's on guard and ready to protect itself. But that higher perspective, seeing through the eyes of Source, God, Creator, is a way to be able to detach from humanness self, to detach from those things that are triggering, to detach from the things that are just physical, right? To be able to see that wider view, that wider purpose, really allows us to see our lessons in the experiences that we may be having. It allows us to really be able to notice the patterns that we repeat. For me, when I was observing in my humanness and trying to do better, so if you're familiar with cognitive behavior theory, it's one of my favorites, to be honest. It takes work, takes effort, takes a lot of self-awareness, but it works. It's really a way of shifting and working with our limiting belief system, right? Which then shifts and eases the emotions and helps clear out that energy, even when you think about that, through all the 7 energies, through the chakras. Our beliefs in the root chakra, our emotions in the sacral chakra, the energy in our self, our identity, our ego in the solar plexus chakra, all of it, up to the heart, the throat, third eye, crown. How we see it, what our perspective is. What I didn't have when I used cognitive behavior theory to help me along that process was the energy and the view, the higher perspective from Source, God, Creator. So it's like my ego was fighting itself. My ego was battling itself in the lower humanness perspective. In one hand, it would challenge itself, but then it would justify, right? It would challenge itself and then come up with all the reasons why, that there was a reason for why I was thinking and feeling the way that I was thinking and feeling. Which, yes, there were reasons why I was thinking and feeling the way I was thinking and feeling based on the ego perspective. Pulling in and shifting into that higher perspective, they're still saying, like, yeah, there are reasons, but there's also reasons why I don't have to stay there. There's also reasons why I can clear this out. There's also reasons why I can shift that belief, allow myself to evolve, allow myself to expand, right? And not be sucked down into all of that humanness more and more. So with the financial freedom, those beliefs about worthiness, worthiness of financial freedom, worthiness to receive money for services provided. And I say it that way because there's a difference, right? So based on those program beliefs, it seems different to go work for someone else, do a job, and get a paycheck, right? Like that seems quote unquote normal and justified. Go to work, do the job, get paid. Okay, could do that. Stepping into my own business, tell me if this is true for you, for those of you who have your own business or who have wanted to have your own business, or those who provide a service more on a personal level or on your own and then don't receive that energy flow, don't receive a payment for what you provide. Somehow it seems different, right? Or you think you have to place the value or the exchange on time for money, money for time, right? How do you even that out? It's like instead of saying this is the value of it, of what the service is provided, it's just an exchange for time and money. And then the human, which humanness self, that ego self, has that inner critic that might seep in, right? So it might start telling you all the reasons why you either can't do it, shouldn't do it, won't do it, don't deserve it. What are some other ones, you guys? What does your inner critic tell you when you try to step into your dreams and step into your passions and step up and into your purpose, your career, your goals? Do you have an inner critic that chatters in your ear, that tries to get in your way, that brings about the fear? Fear of showing up. These are Iona's words, right? Show up, speak out, serve deep. And here comes the fear. Be seen, but don't be seen. Right? Be afraid of being seen. What if people don't understand? What if you're misunderstood? What if they say something bad? What if they heckle you? What if you end up with haters? Well, guess what, guys? You're gonna end up with haters. You're gonna have to deal with rude comments at some point if you're online. Is that enough to make you not show up? And if so, why? Because the one thing I ask myself often when I'm stepping up or releasing and leaning into, if you want to say it that way, leaning up into that higher perspective, what makes anyone any different than us? You look at celebrities on TV, and then sometimes you hear about their personal lives or their struggles, right? So how are they any different than us? What makes us different to not be able to share our story, share our gifts, support people in the way that we want to support them? Will it work for everybody? Probably not, right? We're not meant to. We are led to meet the people we are intended to meet for lessons for ourselves and others, to learn from others, to help others. And I say that in like, that happens simultaneously, if I can spit the word out, simultaneously. I can say that all the years I used to do either like casework, case management, and therapy, all the clients I met, I'm supposed to be helping them. And I did. I mean, I made an effort to help, and they say I helped, but and all the people I've met along the way and that I got to help, they help me too. And oftentimes they don't realize that, right? And working with other people and talking with other people, whether it's a client or a friend or whomever, it allows us to see things within ourselves too. It allows us to address some things that maybe we weren't paying attention to before. It's very interesting. So, with that higher perspective and reflecting on my past week, I could really see. I'm laughing now. Iona, if you watch this later, you can laugh with me. I'm sure you'll chuckle. She laughed with me when I shared it. And I shake my head and facepalm sometimes because I still wasn't fully grasping where I am supposed to be and what I'm supposed to do and who I'm supposed to help and the why. Um, I still feel a little bit shaky, which is funny. You guys, the journey is beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to speak more on it next week. I'll start a new series either next week or the week after. My next series, how we expand and shift up. Kind of like going from the working one to many, and then really reflecting on my journey and how it's, goes from one step to the next. And I reached a level to where, if you caught my introduction, I'm a partner, right, with Iona Mean. And I was seeing myself, and I still see myself as a student, like in life, with Iona and in life in general, right? Always be open to learn something new. But what I wasn't, what I was still kind of shutting down and not allowing that expanded higher perspective, was to see myself stepping into this particular role, right? I was reflecting all the way back. We go through our lives when we want to have when we start or do a spiritual business, and we're looking at our areas that we want to focus on to help others. When we're thinking of who it is we're going to serve, what version of us are we serving, right? And what level are we showing up in? Like, I'm taking things back to the beginning, and I don't need to go back that far. Like, it will surface up and come up in the layers that it needs to, when it needs to, how it needs to, right? And that's fine. But I wasn't fully stepping into where I am today. And I wasn't fully stepping in what my goal was to be today. I went back, I skipped right over it and went way back. But thank you, Iona, because she's patient with me while I go through these processes, right? Because it's normal, you guys. We have layers. Layers upon layers upon layers. So yeah, leading into my role more fully in who I am helping, which is empathic healers and light workers. And I say empathic, not just in a way where, and I know you guys will know, having empathy, but being an empath, right? Not all empaths consider themselves to be healers or light workers. However, that's what I'm here to help. And I had a reminder also in watching Kyle Cease. And he shared in his video about some struggles and challenges, like big ones, that he had over the past few years and to what degree it brought him, right? Like, he's talking about like three, over the past 3 years, he had at least two, it might have been three, like where he was going to jump off a bridge, like serious, serious stuff, right? And it's that reminder that no matter where we are in our healing journey, we're still on a healing journey. So, regardless if you are a spiritual business owner and you're serving other people, or maybe you're a social worker or a mental health therapist or an addiction treatment therapist or a doctor or a nurse, or there are many other helping professions out there. It's okay to take care of you too. You still have to, right? If you don't take care of you through the process of helping others, then you can't really help others anymore, right? You get burned out. So it was a very interesting reminder that I am here to help those along this journey. There she is. Iona says, hey, love. Hi, Iona. I was just talking about you a little bit there. I don't know if you heard me yet or not. That's okay. Iona says, we do have to take care of ourselves. Thank you. Yes, 1,000,000%, right? So I was just leaning into on this video a little bit of the journey, and I laughed, and your ears were probably ringing, right? Because I had said that you had laughed with me when I was kind of looking at my purpose and what I'm doing and where I'm at, who I meant to serve, and how I kind of jumped over it and went all the way back, like way back to the beginning, earlier, super early versions of me, and had to kind of catch back up, right? It's funny. Hey, I didn't hear. That's okay. That's okay. But yeah, it was funny. So my next episode, I'm going to be more specific in, um, who I am, what I'm doing, who I'm serving. Part of that higher perspective, right? Because I got sucked back down in the humanness perspective where I was seeing very small and narrow, and those pieces, like reflecting on different layers of my life and different parts of myself, and then assuming that that's the part that's the other people I need to serve, those who are experiencing these certain pieces, right? Which is not true. It's just not just that, because all of us who have been on this journey, who have been to this point, have these things, may not be exactly the same, but have things that led us to do what we do. Iona says, oh, the purpose, that never goes away. And his duh moment, exactly. Like they said that face palm, and then laugh, shake my head a little bit, get on with it. Get on with it. Iona says, I hear that the parts in the entire journey. Yeah, right? And thank you. So if you didn't hear me, I actually had said thank you for sticking with me while I go through that roller coaster process where it's like, ooh, detour a little bit, check things out over here and then come back. It's funny. Excuse me. Iona says, haha, they get on with it. Exactly, right? And we are too. I'm excited. There's still that fear, right? There's still a level of fear. There's still layers that are shedding. But we're normalizing that because it's part of it, right? We're supposed to have these things. We're supposed to have a level of fear. That's part of that humanness stuff. If we're not shedding the old, then we're staying in it. So if there's no fear, it's probably because I'm staying in the old. But since I'm shedding it, now that allows that space to feel a little bit of fear, but we keep moving through it anyway, right? We move through it anyway. It's how we clear it out. We face it and we move through it. Because it's just humanness stuff anyways. It's not even true fear. It's just fear. Anna says, you are welcome. It's my honor and blessing to witness. Thank you, love. Thank you. Yeah. You have to share that quote again about shedding the old. It's funny that came up. I don't know why I don't remember the whole quote, but I think fear is huge and keeps us small, keeps us focusing on that limited belief program. And it says, so true. The fear is going to be there. Yeah. And Iona, behind the scenes in our discussions, Iona was talking about and failing forward, right? Because that too is normal. I think that's a lot of the things that we talk about, the not hiding from the stuff, not sugarcoating it, not denying that it happens, because we as people get the wrong idea about what this success in our lives and our business is. It's not fearless. It's not truly fearless. We say we show up fearless. That's our way of not feeling that fear, but that's not really true because we do. We just do it anyway. You still feel the fear, but you do it anyway. You still fail, but you fail forward. You don't fall backwards. You fall forward and you get up and you go again. It's normal. It's okay. It's part of the process. And being okay with that together is amazing. Iona says it's not true. Fear is made up, right? Like it feels so real, but it's not. It's just this phony thing that we allow block us and hold us back. Iona says that's so big, that quote. Glad it helped. It really is. Thank you. Iona says, yep, here's the plan and let's fail forward. Yeah, I like it. Which is funny because I had not liked it before. Like, I don't typically did not like wake up in the morning and go, yeah, here I am, time to fail. Let's go, baby. But I kind of like it now. Feels silly, feels fun. Like, okay, let's do it. It's almost like just that excitement, an adventure. That's the word I was looking for. It's like an adventure. How are we going to fail forward today? Woo, let's do it. I love this. Thank you. I love that you share it with me because I like that we can laugh at things together. And it says, you definitely 100 did not like it before. Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. Definitely not. And again, it's not like a true, like, get up excited about what can I screw up today, but the energy is so much lighter. It's like the boulder, not just a little energetic block. It's like a boulder is broken up and shifted. And then now it's just like little pebbles that are floating in the way. I was like, okay, we can deal with that. We can move through that. It's not a big thing, right? We can make this fun. We can shift these little pebbles around and get creative, right? How can we make it work? How can we, excuse me, how can we use it to a benefit? How can I fail forward and then share with you guys on the journey, on the experience, and then maybe you do the same or a little bit differently, and then we share that. Then we can all be supportive and laugh and joke together and keep moving forward. It's beautiful. And it says, makes so much sense. Yes, thank you. Excuse me, I do like that word, adventure. Oh, Melanie and I used it for a while, just on little stuff. We do experiments or go on an adventure, which really, it just sounded fun. It was our way of making a walk in the backyard fun, right? It's an adventure. We're doing something different. Let's plant something over here that we've never done before, and we'll call it an experiment, And then if it works, great. And if it doesn't, great. And either way, we get to learn what happens, right? So instead of being so hyper-focused on an outcome being perfect, right? Like that idea of scripting when we get on here on video or scripting a call, instead of scripting and trying to make it so micromanage every little piece of it, it's like taking that step, making your efforts, and then almost stepping back just a little bit and be like, okay, what happens now? Right? We're still moving, we're still doing, we're still nourishing and taking care of whatever it is we're doing, but it's not micromanage. It's not freaking out. It's like, oh no, I slipped. Oh no, I had to clear my throat. Oh no, it didn't turn out how I wanted. That's okay. What if we do it this way next time? What does that look like? What happens then, right? Make it fun. And it says, I love that you love this as we move forward. Me too. Thank you. And it says 2020 for me. 2020, like 2020 vision, or 2020, I didn't catch that. 2020 for me. Like the steps are 80-20. I don't know. You said 2020. I was thinking 80-20. Sorry. That level of perfection. Like you're doing so much and you still do, obviously you can't just sit back in a corner and expect life to happen. But there is a level of stepping back too and allowing. Allowing is huge too. Iona says that's exactly what I have learned to do. Allow soul guidance to lead me. Exactly. 2020 UK child. Oh, I'm sorry. Duh. The number is 2020. It's totally out there for a moment. Yay. 2020. It's 322 for me now. So your 20 is my 3. Okay. I'll try to remember that. That's awesome. Allow soul guidance to lead me. I like that statement too, right? And we do have to allow, because when we try to like micromanage it, when we try to script every little thing, make every piece and step and breath perfect, that's when our humanness gets in the way. Yes, we're in a human body and we have to remove this human. We live through this human, but it doesn't control everything, right? That allowing is allowing your soul to take over. You're allowing your soul to lead, right? That guidance that Iona spoke of. I know, right? Facepalm. I would do it harder, but 8:20 p.m. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, so we're back at 5 hours. Sometimes I don't remember that our time changes are different. So for a short period of time, we're like 4 hours difference, and then for the majority, it's 5 hours difference. It doesn't work trying to be perfect. I am a recovered perfectionist. I hear you. It really doesn't. I think I've used a goal of perfectionism as a way to procrastinate and avoid and hide, right? So, in a way, there was this part of me that thought it was controlling a situation or controlling how I was going to do something and how all these things, thinking that I'm going to make it great, make it right. But then inner critic would step in, and then I would question it, and it's still not perfect yet, so that helped delay it, and it's still not perfect yet, so that helped me avoid it, and it's still not perfect yet, so that, right? So then I just not doing it. I get overwhelmed and then just shut down and not do anything. It doesn't work for me anymore. Thank goodness. I don't want it to work for me anymore. All right, same one. Iona says our time changed on Sunday. Okay, gotcha. So we're back to the 5. Okay, that works. I'm back on track with our time changes, our time zones. So with financial freedom and observing self from that higher perspective, not trying to micromanage the human, but being aware of the human and allowing room, allowing space for the human to be human, because we are still human. We're not going to not be human, right? We don't stop being human. We just stop letting humanness lead us, and we allow our soul to lead us more. We allow that energy of God, Source Creator, to lead us. Allow ourselves to evolve and expand. Part of my hesitation was, so I'm stepping into where I'm supposed to be more fully. And there was that part of me that was like, oh man, you got to change it again. You got to change it again. I don't have to change anything. But it was just that weird old programmed belief, the old system, those old cycles, that humanness of fear, that humanness of perfection, that humanness of criticizing, nitpicking, right? Assuming, jumping to conclusions, like doing all these things that thought I had to make some kind of big changes. And I don't. Just like it's all been falling into places. My human wasn't catching up with it. It's weird. Kind of weird. Iona says, I procrastinate why I'm not clear on something. Apparently, there are 2 levels of procrastination, and one good and one not so good. Right? That's something to sit with, isn't it? Some good procrastination. Sometimes it's a good thing for me to wait. Like, if I get too ahead of myself, it's actually my humanness. Some say that quick automatic thing or nudge or lead is your soul, and you don't question it and you just go with it. However, in my trainings and experience in addiction services, when you have an addiction, it's the exact opposite of that. So when you have an addiction, your brain works differently, and those automatic things are not your soul, right? So now I have to really catch, and my addiction now, because we all have something of something, right, in our humanness, like life experiences. So I stopped smoking cigarettes, so that's no longer my addiction. I've released the addiction to tobacco. However, I have a food addiction, or what I feel like is a food addiction, or I at least abuse it sometimes. I guess you could say it that way. Like eating emotions and things. So working through that addiction still in my humanness, But some of those quick thoughts, it's still that part of the brain. It might not even have anything to do with food, but it's still that part of the brain. So I'm trying to be cautious that I'm calm and leading and leaping in or from my highest perspective, and not from that space in my brain that feeds and fuels the addiction part of me, the addictive brain, and jumping into those things that is really just more humanness. Oftentimes, to me, in the moment, feels the same. It feels the same. It's interesting. How I know the difference. Awareness is huge in that, to be honest, but how I know the difference is by that. Like, am I just hyped up? Am I caught up in thoughts? Or is it a calm thing? And if I wait for just a moment, like procrastinate in a sense, like wait just a moment and give myself a moment to sit with that, do I still feel that lead? Or is it like, nope, don't do it. I don't know if that made sense. You can let me know. Oh, sorry. Let me find where I'm at. Okay, Iona says, I've changed everything so many times. It's part of evolution, though, isn't it? It's how we evolve. It's how we expand. They said in the beginning, and sometimes I felt like, oh no, like this was some terrible thing. But it's not. It's part of the process. It's part of the journey. So we should normalize that too, right? Normalize the evolution, the expansion, the change. Reminds me of that one meme with the butterfly or the two people where it says like, you've changed. And the other one says, we're supposed to. Kind of like that. Iona says, I get that. The reaction. Yeah. We don't want to react. We want to respond. That's how I, in my own brain, how I differentiate the two. To me, like reaction is that humanness, that quick knee-jerk reaction, where responding is more from the soul. Iona says, so proud of you for releasing your smoking addiction. It's ages now. Thank you. It'll be 2 years this year. It'll be 2 years the end of July 29th. 2 years. What? Thank you. It's good too. It is good. And it's so funny now because I'm like, I don't want it. People smoke around me, not all the time, but when they do, I'm like, I have no desire for that at all. It's cool. Kind of doesn't smell the same to me anymore. It kind of stinks. That kind of does stink. And it says, I have that emotional eating at times and was not aware until us working together. Isn't that interesting? Wow. For those of you who don't know, Iona is very intentional, like very intentional on her days and the food that she eats, all of it. So it was interesting to read that. Yeah, and the few times that you've shared with me, of course, that you're emotionally eating, because I know it's not something that you really do very often. Iona says, awareness is huge. I agree. And it says, I have learned to wait, but not all the time. Sometimes I am like, oh, heck, do it. Agree with that too. Yeah. There are times where you just need to go in because for me, I've done this too, where I wait too long. And then it's like, then I don't do it. Then yeah. That's not a good thing either. And it says we're supposed to change. So many resist. Yeah. Me. Me. Have not been historically a fan of change at all. There's a level of comfort in being stagnant. That you know what to expect. Even if things are icky, you know what to expect. There's no shock and awe in that, right? There's no getting blindsided by it. You know what to expect, even if it stinks. So to change that, there's almost like this feeling exposed, because we had that false sense of security knowing what to expect, even when it hurts us, which is a complete oxymoron because you're not protecting yourself when you're stuck in things that hurt you, right? But in that humanness, that's kind of how it feels. There's a level of safety in knowing. So the unknown that comes with change, that exposure, that, oh, right? But yeah, getting comfortable and okay in that. Having faith. Sometimes I think faith is more than having faith in our ability to move if we need to move. Having faith in the ability that we can be safe and protect ourselves even when we're exposed in something new and different, even when changes occurs, right? Knowing that, knowing that we're more than just a human, so whatever we're experiencing is beyond humanness, and all the things that are beyond humanness is safe. So there's safety in that, right? Perspective, higher perspective. Iona says we are supposed to change. Okay, I read that. I'm sorry. Iona says 2 years. Wow, I know, right? Holy smokes. It does stink. Yes, it does. Iona says, yeah, I don't do it often, but now I know why. It is so definitely emotional eating. I was shocked that that was me, right? And sometimes it is, isn't it? When we look at ourselves like, oh man, I do that. Iona says, oh my God, the resistance, lol. And that level of comfort doesn't extend to me. I just wait for you to be ready and we go harder after the pause. And I love that for us, right? I know, and bless you, because you absolutely just, it's like, okay, do your thing. I'm still here when you're done. I was probably like my part of my soul, right? You talk about your spirit guides and stuff, and some of those, if you have a sense of humor like ours, the looks that they might give, like, are you done messing around now? You good? We going? You going? Okay, let's go. I could almost see Iona doing that. Okay, you good? Did you get that out of your system? You done resisting? You done fighting it? Good? Went down your little rabbit hole for a little while? Coming back out? All right, let's go. Iona says, oh, faith. Yep. Yeah, right? And how we define faith, but to me, that's faith. Like just that knowing. It doesn't matter what happens with this humanness. I'm good. And this is dropping truth bombs. I know, right? It's time. It's time. I need to quit hiding. Quit fearing what other people think. Quit hiding. Just be perfectly imperfect. I'm good with that. The laughs. I know. I hear you. I adore you. Pissing myself. I adore you too. Thank you. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Thank you for coming on the live with me. I know that you're busy this evening. I wasn't expecting you to hop on, so thank you for that. Rolling around over here. Good. Need some laughs, huh? Laughing is great energy. Break up that icky stuff that tends to sneak in every now and again. Laugh it off. Move forward. That's how we would support each other, right? We don't beat each other up. We move forward. Fail forward. Giggle. Nobody's hurt. We're good. We're good. Let's see. Anything else on financial freedom and observing self from a higher perspective? It's so funny because I almost, after going through that this week and after going, oh, yeah, okay, click, 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 all the pieces clicking together, right? Click, 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 click. I almost wanted to skip this live and the next one. I'm just going to start the week. I'm just going to start over with the new ones, but that didn't feel right either. So I was like, no, it's 2 videos. I can merge. I'll just merge them. I'll wrap up these 2 and scratch the surface. And yeah, the next series will be more on it because I have some, going to clean up a few things on my websites and such, and good to go. And again, not major changes, just a couple little things of wording. It's all good. And it says, you have cheered me up. Perfect. Awesome. I am so happy. I needed it. Great. Perfect timing. And I'm glad. I'm glad. I love that we can talk and laugh and have a good time. We're having new ones. Having new ones. I got lost on that. Having new what? Oh, the new videos or new words. I mean, it's not, you know it. I already sent it to Iona. Iona knows what words I'm using. And I said a little bit here, empathic healers and light workers. So in the past, I was just saying like empaths and light workers. And I wasn't really focusing on people who have a spiritual business, right? Like, why not? Why not? I went back further, right? Those versions or layers of me that many of us go through, but I was like kind of skipping over the whole having a spiritual business part. That one, right? Like face palm. No more, though. So how's that? Iona says, woohoo! Yeah, baby, that's right. New series. Yep, you get it. Absolutely. Oh, get it. Yeah, yeah. You know? Yes, more specific. Still around financial freedom, still around the seven energies, still around like all the things, right? And Iona and I had talked before about, well, we shared before in our journeys and journals, when we were doing daily lives. Iona has the seven freedoms to the seven freedoms. So it's cheers to financial freedom. Cheers is the acronym. So if you spell out cheers, it's contribution, health, emotions, environment, and spiritual. And they're all freedoms to financial freedom. And how they relate with the seven main chakras. And then how we incorporate what I call the best you, which best version of you, highest version of you, but it's an acronym, best you, beliefs, emotions, yourself, right? Self-esteem, self-identity, ego identity, spelling it out, transformation, heart chakra, your, the why for you, your truth, speaking it, throat chakra, the O, the observation, observer of higher self, in the third eye chakra, and then unconditional love. How they all intermingle and how they're all going to play a role in the boot camp and mastermind. I was thinking more mastermind, but maybe boot camp too. We'll talk more about that behind the scenes, where it fits in, but it fits in for sure, 1,000,000%. Because again, I was doing daily chakra journals. Iona was doing her soul legacy journal, and all these pieces, they just fit and merge and meld so perfectly. It's amazing. I know I just said don't be perfect, but if it's perfect, it's perfect. What are you going to do? Allowing it to be. And it says you were at first focusing on biz stuff, or at least I thought you were. You know, yeah, my brain, my human is stubborn. Iona says that's huge, our merge. I agree, right? And it's time to just do it. Iona's ready. I'm ready. We're doing it. We're merging. I mean, we've been merged, but like really vocalizing it more and speaking to it more and sharing it more. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm excited. Truth. Yes, it does, right? They really go hand in hand so well. I love it. I loved it then. I love it now. I'm not sure why I took a little detour there for a little bit, but it brought me to where I am now. So I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Maybe I had some more layers of fear to shed. I just had to play in the mud for a while, digging rabbit holes. I say rabbit holes. Those are inner rabbit holes. Just things within that needed some attention. But yes, I don't know if you heard or not, Iona, but I was speaking to that, and I shared a little with you, I think, that one video of Kyle Cease, where he had shared that he, like over the past 3 years, things based on fear, right? Worried about things that didn't even exist, but worried that they could exist, right? In my opinion, Kyle Cease does amazing things. Had no idea until he shared that video of these challenges he was facing and how deep they were and to what degree they brought him. And something he shared was, he's got a team of people around him, right? And his friends, and he's fairly well known. Like there's videos out there with Matt Kahn and I don't remember other speakers and spiritual gurus, leaders, whatever, spiritual speakers that he's friends with or talks to, or done shows with. I can't think of his name. I could see his face, but I can't think of his name. Anyway, from the outside perspective, looking at someone, right? I don't know Kyle Cease personally. He's a YouTuber, right? A comedian, a spiritual speaker. But to have an idea, like he's played in movies, right? He could fit that celebrity, maybe not as well known as some, but fit that celebrity thing. So to only see what we see on a video, right? Whatever he shares openly, publicly, like with anybody else, right? Like with us and with other people who get online, whether it's a YouTube or whatever it may be, and they share so much of their story, or they share their help, their way of serving. Everything looks, so amazing. But in life, they're still human too, right? And they're still having a human life experience. So there's still hiccups, and they're still falling, and they're still failing, and there's still fears, and there's still all the things that we all face all the time. The only difference is they may not share it. They may not tell you about it. We may not get to hear it. So we're just assuming life is great. They've got it together. Life is perfect, right? Nope. Still living life like the rest of us. Still doing great some days and having challenging other days. Still having fears that are false. Still having fears based on the human lying to us, right? But that reminder that all of us deserve support. All of us deserve help. What he had shared was, in the midst of all of that and having like a meltdown at one of his retreats, basically, super overwhelmed and anxious, having a super hard time, and not having support, not having someone there to hold the space for him, not having someone in his corner. I think he had one, but out of this whole team of people, right, he had one that was like looking out for his well-being. So that reminder that we all need to have those people. We all deserve a team to support each other, right? And that's what we're out here to do. We're out here to serve and build a team to support each other as we go through our spiritual journeys, spiritual business journeys, right? Serving others, serving each other. Self-care, self-love, self-worth is a must. That's my part. Iona says we up-leveled. We sure did, right? Like, boom. And I think he's probably heard the other word in your head after I said that, right? Iona says, I took a pause. It might have been that, LOL. Pausing is great, right? Funny as. I love joking around. Thank you for sharing my humor with me. Iona says, I'm not sure I have seen that if it wasn't too short. Yeah, I don't think I sent the whole video. I just kind of spoke a little tiny bit about it. Not even that much, like just a little. I was processing that quite a bit. Iona says, I could have guessed he struggles too, as everyone does, right? And we should. That should be automatic. Like, well, I mean, you're human, right? You're human. I'm sure you have a struggle in your life. That should be a given. But isn't it funny how many of us, especially before getting on camera, those fears of showing up or fears of serving people, having what people are going to say, right? What might they say? They know I'm a human and I made a mistake before in my life. Weird. I'm being sarcastic because, right? Like certain ways you hear it or say it, it's like, yeah, wait, what? What was the other one that came to mind that I just kind of let it fly away? Yeah, it might come back to me. Iona says that's why I share my journal raw and real, exactly. And I love that raw and real. Like, it is what it is. I haven't done anything in this lifetime that prevents me from just being able to own it and say, yep, I did that. Yep, I screwed that up. Do I want to come out and tell you all my icky stuff? Nope. No, I don't think we have to do that either. But there's nothing in my life that someone could throw at me that I'd be like, oh man, someone knew, someone found out, like, whatever. Yes, I don't love it, but I was human and I screwed up. Iona says, wow, he didn't have support. Holy moly. I know, right? Blew me away. I think that's the part that blew me away the most. Like, whoa. And because, this connects for me. One of the reasons, the main reason, really, that drives my self-love movement, the underlying bottom outcome, like biggest underlying goal outcome, would be to ultimately prevent things like suicide, right? And I'm not saying that spiritual business owners are all suicidal. Please don't make that connection. However, it's not to say that we can't be. It's not to say that we never were or couldn't get to that space. Especially if, and I'm not trying, I shouldn't say it that way, but if you're an empath and you're helping other people, even if you're not an empath, things like vicarious trauma is real. When you are in somebody's energy, when you're serving other people, since we're being real, let's be real, okay? When we are helping and serving other people and you are sharing that energy with them, you're in that space with them, or you're holding space with them, or you're in the way while they project stuff at you, that's a lot. A lot. And if we're not taking care of ourselves, we are not, what's the word I'm looking for? Immune to. We are not, word is not coming to me. There's nothing saying that we couldn't end up feeling so icky, right? There's just not, if we don't take care of ourselves. So that's just the point. Take care of yourself. You are worthy of that love. You are worthy of the financial freedom. You don't deserve to stress over finances, right? You are worthy of taking care of you as much as you want to take care of and help other people. So clearing that stuff out is massive and important. And I don't know why I was like, I know it is, but I'm going to focus over here first. Iona says we all need a soul team. Oh man, 1,000,000%, right? And I see it more and more and more every single day. And joint vision partners, exactly. To be able to do this together is phenomenal. Ain't it? It is weird. It is weird. I was blown away that he didn't have support. Blown away. And it says, oh, having gone through the dark night of the soul. Yeah, and and it's not just one of those either, right? We might have more than one. Or just taking on and carrying so much other people's energy. I can remember times in working with people where it was so heavy and my focus was on them so much, and I didn't literally take people home with me, just so you know that, but like that mindset, right? In my head, I brought people home with me because I was still trying to figure out how I could help them the best. So I left work physically by myself, but in my head, I'm still thinking about however many clients I had at the time and what's going on with them and how can I help them. And we've tried this and we've tried that. And what else could we do? And what did they say what am I missing? And blah, 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 blah. That's a lot. It's a lot in your own energy. It's a lot in your mind. It weighs a lot in your heart. And it got too heavy. It was like that idea or concept of carrying the world on your shoulders. First of all, it wasn't mine to fix. It wasn't mine to carry. It's theirs. I was just there to try to help. Like, here's a tool. Try this one. Here's a tool. Try that one, right? That was my job. But I didn't get it then. I didn't understand that then. I overdid it then. At that point in time, I didn't understand the energy body and the energy field and energy share and, all the things and how it flows in and out and how, even at a slight distance, how we connect that. Hey, there's distance energy, right? How I could receive that or send it or whatever. I didn't understand any of that. I didn't know any of that at that time. So I wasn't clearing any of my energy. So in addition to carrying my own life boulders, right, from this life and past lives, I was starting to collect others too. It gets to be a lot. So when you don't keep that clear, it can do some pretty harsh things to the mind and the body and the soul. It gets heavy. It gets too heavy. Which obviously is why I am here and my purpose to show up and talk about it and normalize some shit so that we can clear it out and keep on going in the best way possible, right? There's that. And it says no switch off button. Exactly. So after I started to learn and realize what I was doing, and it took a couple of years to be honest, one thing I would do is after work each day, I would get in my car physically, turn it on, and before I even put my seatbelt on, I'd look at my passenger seat and I'd look at my rearview mirror and I'd look, just all around my car to purposely tell myself, like my mind, nope, nobody there. It's just me, right? It's time to leave, leaving everything here, not taking it home with me. I'm not taking anybody home with me. I'm not taking people's stuff home with me. It's just me going home from work, right? That was my way of detaching and leaving it there, shifting that drive home, shifting from work mind, work mode, work energy to personal life, right? Like switching hats. But it helped me a lot. It helped me not bring work home. Yeah, that's massive. True, it is a lot for real. Yeah. Yeah, so it's important again, right? So I'm going to have my whole blurb ready. I'm still tweaking just a little bit at the end, which I haven't shared my tweaks because you know how I have to do things like 12 times with different words or different places in the sentence, and then I get it right. I saved you half of them, so you could get the other half in Telegram. It's funny. I'll send the other half of messages, but yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I like it. And I like this convo, so I'm glad this is all coming in because it's just helping to even drive it home, and it's helping me look myself, observing from a higher perspective of my role in our partnership and how I get to help serve our clients, our students, right? Our team. I love it. Life work balance. Yeah. And it's super important, especially when you own your own business too, right? Because it is your business and it is a big part of you. And if it's your purpose, it's more than a job, it's more than a career. So it's like you've expanded yourself to take on even more. But since we take on even more, that means it's even more important to take care of ourselves, right? To incorporate the self-care, to keep our energy clear so that we can show up. I own a saying, show up, speak out, and serve deep. We can't show up, speak out, and serve deep if we're carrying the world on our shoulders and it feels like it's collapsing in on us and we're just letting it all take over because we haven't been taking care of ourselves, right? I love the laughs. Iona says it's so clear to me. Girl, I know it. And you know me already. One minute I'm like, hey, and the next one I'm like, oh, wait a minute. But wait, look over here. Wait, look over there. It's just I had to clear out, that's all, right? That's really all it is. That's why she just steps back and I was like, okay, you go do you over there. Not really. She's by my side throw, but it's like, okay, it's fine. You had to go clear out some stuff. I'm here, I'm here. You clear it out. All right, we're good. Back on track, right? Moving forward. It's awesome. I'm really excited to see too how everything pans out in different ways since we're doing more stuff. Preparing for my book, right? Change the book title. Not again, but I mean since the very first one to the Worthiness Trap. So that's really cool. Iona says, I find it hard to switch off with the downloads happening, but I love it when it feels like fun. Heck yeah. And downloads are different too, right? It's a different experience when you're receiving downloads than when you're just taking on or carrying someone's heavy weight, like carrying that trauma or the energy of that trauma. Energy is that thing where it's so subtle, right? But it's also very noticeable when you are aware. So someone might not even be saying the words, but it has the energy and you feel that energy, so it can still feel heavy, if that makes sense. And it says, true story. I know, right? So it makes us a good team. We make a good team. I love it. Look out, world. Here we come. No, not really. Don't look out. Keep your eye. Be on the lookout. That's what I should say. Be on the lookout. Here we are. Let us know how we can best serve you. Get your YouTube channel ready. Have you written a book? If not, are you gonna? Do you want to? Yeah, good stuff. It's been an hour already. How is it an hour? Thank you again, Iona, for being on here with me. Thank you to everyone who watches the replay. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section. Come join us at the energyhealingschool.com and or the Soul Legacy Academy. We will see you next week Iona, I will see you soon on Telegram. So much love to you. Iona says we are the best team. I agree. 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. Thank you for being you and for being on this journey with me. Again, so much love, guys. I'll see you next week.